Hello friends, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to try some drawing in metal. Now, human beings have been making metal and making things out of metal for a very long time, and so it stands to reason that artists would want to take those materials and make art too. When you make a picture in a sheet of metal, it's called embossing or engraving, or the word that I use is repousse, which is from French. Pousser means to push, and in repousse, you change the flat shape of the metal by pushing it out from underneath using hammers or punches, and you can also carve into the metal or push it back in with chisels or styluses. There are some metals that are very soft and easy to work with. They're the metals that are often used in jewelry. Can you think of what those metals are? Right, gold and silver and copper too. Any metal that can be made very thin and very soft, soft enough and thin enough that you can bend it with your hands, you can make art with it too. To make some drawings in metal, you're going to need some things from your kitchen, like tin foil and paper towels. You'll need some recycled cardboard, probably from your kitchen too. This is an old pasta box. You'll need a pencil and an eraser. You'll need scissors. All the things we're using, you should be able to cut with scissors all by yourself. And if you have pens that will stick to foil, this is a Sharpie. I don't have any colored Sharpies, but maybe you have some colored Sharpies. And this is a white paint pen. And I tested it right here, and it does stick to metal. So if you have some colored metallic markers, you can use them to add color to your drawings afterwards. But you don't have to. I like the way that the metal looks all by itself when it's finished. I especially like the way the metal looks when you hold it in the light and turn it back and forth. I'm going to clear away some of these things now. So the size of your drawing is going to depend on the size of the cardboard that you have. I use the cardboard as a base for my finished artwork, and as you can see here and here, it's a little bit bigger than what the artwork is going to be. So you can make your artwork as big as you can make your cardboard. For your first metal drawing, start with a simple shape that's very much like a piece of paper. I'm cutting. Once you have your cardboard base, you want to trace its shape 4 times onto a piece of kitchen tin foil. You're actually not going to make 4 different drawings. You're going to make one drawing, but you're going to make that drawing on 4 layers of tin foil. And this is because the metal sheets used by artists are actually a lot thicker than kitchen foil. If you tried to do this technique on 1 layer of kitchen foil, you would end up just tearing holes in your art and you wouldn't be happy at all. We're going to stack these layers of tin foil on top of each other, and that's going to make an artwork that's a lot sturdier. I'm cutting apart the shapes, leaving the extra tin foil in place. be careful when you're cutting the tin foil. These edges are sharp, and if you're not paying attention, you could cut yourself. It's just like getting a paper cut. Do that. Once you have your 4 layers of foil ready, stack them all up. Gently press them flat. If you're worried about your layers of tin foil moving around, then you can tape them together on 2 sides. Just enough tape to hold everything together. Your picture will look different depending on whether you work on the shiny side of the foil or the dull side of the foil. I like the dull side of the foil for my finished artwork, so I'm going to work on the shiny side. I know exactly where my picture is going to go because I've got the outline of the cardboard base traced right there. Take your paper towel and put it under your foil. You won't be able to press the foil and make lines and shapes if you're trying to work on a hard surface like this tabletop. You need to work on something softer so that there's a little bit of give underneath your project. To do my drawing work, I like to use a dull or a worn down pencil. If your pencil is really sharp, then get a piece of scrap paper and do some wearing down before you start to use it. A really sharp pencil will poke right through the tinfoil, and that will not look nice. I like to use a colored pencil because a colored pencil is actually softer than a drawing pencil. So I'm just doing some random coloring right now and looking at the tip and checking to see that it's not super pointy, but that it's softer and rounder. The nice thing about a colored pencil is also it has this end, which is usually soft and round, and you can use that too. Today, I'm just going to draw some simple shapes and lines to give you an idea of what you could do in your picture. You might want to draw your idea on a separate piece of paper first before you start working, because if you make a big mistake in the tinfoil, you're not going to be able to erase it. You'll have to throw the tinfoil away and start again. Another good thing to remember is that the tinfoil is going to be bending up and down and side to side while you're working. So you might think that you would want to start at the top and work your way down to the bottom. But I actually, when I'm doing a tinfoil picture, I like to start in the middle. So I'm going to start by drawing a heart shape right in the middle of my paper. I don't have to push down really hard, just a little bit of pressure, and I'll feel the tin foil sinking down into the paper towel underneath it. I'm going to turn this over so you can see what it looks like on the front. So on the front, I have this raised line that creates the shape of my heart. If I want a puffy heart, what I can do is turn my pencil over and then use the bigger end of my pencil, and I'm rubbing and pressing the tin foil inside the heart shape. If you rub in circles, that will create a different look than if you go around the edge of the heart shape. So experiment with what you think looks best. There's my heart. I can press the tin foil down flat again here on this side, the front side, and you can see its shape. I like the way this side of the heart looks. This doesn't look very nice yet. I think I need to go back and fix that. Once you've started working on the tin foil, you probably can keep working over and over until you get that spot looking just right, as long as you're gentle. If you poke a hole in the tin foil, you're not going to be able to fix it. So there's my raised heart. I'm going to add wings on the side of my heart. I'm not trying to make this look like real bird wings. I'm just using shapes and lines that remind me of feathers and making a pattern inside the wing shape. Another thing that your pencil can do is make dots. Simply pressing the tip of the pencil into the foil will make little dots. And if you press and wiggle your pencil, the more you wiggle, the bigger you can make your dots. When you've finished drawing everything that you want to draw in your picture, take the paper towel away and with your finger gently flatten down the tin foil around your lines and shapes wherever you can. If I push down too hard, I'll push down my lines and shapes, but if I'm gentle, that won't happen. And this helps the embossing or the repousse of your picture stand out better. Once everything is flattened out again, you can add color if you want to. Be very careful if you want to put color somewhere that's very raised up and puffy. If your coloring is not super gentle, you can flatten that out. I like to put color, if I'm going to color, where the tinfoil is flat. So here on this wing, I can add color between the lines that I drew. Be careful not to touch where you've put the color. The ink from the marker or the Sharpie will take longer to dry on the tinfoil than it would on paper. And so if you touch it too soon, it might smear or even come off again. I don't want to flatten my work, so I'm going to turn the project to make it easier for me to reach places that I want to put this white. To help protect the metal picture, we're going to attach it to this cardboard base. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut up to the shape of the cardboard that I drew on the foil before I started making my picture. Even though I'm cutting through 4 layers of tinfoil, it still should be pretty easy to do with your scissors. Put the cardboard behind the foil, and now I'm going to slowly and carefully fold all these tabs over the cardboard. The back does not look as nice as the front, so to fix that, I'm going to cut another piece of cardboard and glue it on. If you cut this second piece of cardboard a little bit bigger all around than your project, you can make a frame. And for this frame, I cut a bigger oval, and before I glued the picture onto it, I colored the edges with a crayon. But for this one, I just want it to cover on the back and cover up all of those loose fringes. So I'll get my white glue. Very gently place the cardboard on the back. I don't want to squish it down because that might make my picture squish. I will press here in these areas where there is no embossing. Those are flat areas of the tin foil. Now all I have to do is wait for that glue to dry, and my new metal drawing will be ready to go on display. These metal drawings look especially beautiful in candlelight. Think of all the times when you might use candles for a party, and you could make these pictures to be part of the display as well. If you make your pictures small, like these, they would make really nice tags to put on a present. So you're giving someone a present and they're getting an extra little present of art along with it. Well, friends, I hope that this technique of drawing on metal instead of on paper has gotten you excited about making a special work of art today. Think about what kind of picture would look better if it was shiny. I think that the shininess of the foil and the puffiness of parts of the picture make even the most simple idea that much more special. Have fun, my friends. I'll see you next time.